Hey there, beautiful souls, and welcome to Soul Level Presence from the Ethers. I'm your host, Eli Matthews, and I'm really excited to dive into today's topic with you. Today, I'm speaking from a place of truth, because for most of my life, I didn't even know what gaslighting was. I just knew something felt wrong. And if you're feeling that too, this episode is for you. So grab a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's explore this together. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious, sneaky forms of manipulation there is. It's not always loud. It's not always violent. Most of the time, it's subtle. It's slow. It's patient. It's a psychological attack meant to make you doubt your own memories, your feelings, even your sanity, without you realizing it's happening. And the worst part? It usually happens inside the places where you're supposed to feel the safest: relationships, marriages, families, even long-term friendships. A gaslighter doesn't want honest connection. They don't want mutual respect. They want control. And the way they get control is by confusing you, keeping you second-guessing yourself, training you to believe that your instincts are wrong, your memories are faulty, and your perception of reality is unreliable. Over time, you stop trusting your own gut. You start asking them for clarity. You start believing that maybe you're the one who's too sensitive, too emotional, too broken. You start living in a constant state of self-doubt, and that's exactly where they want you. Because a confused person is easy to control. A doubting person is easy to manipulate. It doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, like a fog rolling in. At first, you don't even realize you're breathing in poison. You just think you're tired. You just think you're stressed. You just think you need to try harder to be a better partner, a better daughter, a better friend. But the truth is, you're not the problem. You're being played. When you're deep inside it, it feels like you're drowning without even realizing you're underwater. You start to wonder if you're crazy, if you're broken, if you're just too much. You lose your anchor to your own reality because someone you trusted is slowly pulling it out from under you. But here's the truth. No gaslighter ever wants you to figure out. If you're starting to question your own reality, if you're starting to feel like you're always the problem, if your gut is screaming that something feels off even when your mind is telling you to just be nicer or be more understanding, you're not crazy. You're waking up. Gaslighting is real. It's intentional. It's emotional warfare. And the moment you start trusting yourself again, the moment you reclaim your instincts, the moment you stop explaining yourself and start believing yourself, that's the moment their power over you starts to break. You are not imagining it. You are not broken. You are not losing your mind. You are waking up to the truth. And the truth will set you free. Let's drop a big truth bomb right here, because this matters. Not every single hurtful thing someone says is gaslighting. We've all brushed up against it accidentally at some point in our lives. Maybe you've said something minimizing without realizing it. Something like, "You're overreacting," or "That's not what I meant." It happens. We're human. We're not always perfectly tuned to someone else's emotions in every moment. And normal people, good people, when they realize they hurt you, they feel it, they care, they apologize. But real gaslighting, that's a whole different beast. Weaponized gaslighting isn't accidental. It's not a one-time slip of the tongue. It's a calculated, intentional, repeated pattern. It's designed to erase your reality, confuse your memory, twist your emotions, make you doubt your instincts so they can stay in control. It's psychological warfare masked as concern or misunderstanding. And the key factor that separates normal people from real gaslighters is simple: consciousness and care. Normal people might hurt you by accident, but they will listen, reflect, and change. Real gaslighters, they double down. They deny. They flip the script. They make you the villain just for noticing something is wrong. They have no intention of repairing the damage they cause, because the damage is the point. So here's your sole takeaway. Pay attention to the patterns. Watch for the lack of true accountability. Listen for how many times someone didn't mean it, but somehow keeps hurting you anyway. because that's where the real danger lies. Not in the one-time mistakes, but in the repeated, deliberate dismantling of your reality. And once you see the pattern for what it is, you can't unsee it. And you damn sure don't have to stay trapped inside it. For a long time, I thought I had escaped violence. I believed I had survived the worst, the obvious, physical, terrifying kind of abuse that leaves bruises you can see. But what I didn't realize was that I was walking straight into another form of harm, one that was quieter, slower, and in many ways even more dangerous. My husband seemed like a safe haven at first. Compared to everything I had survived, he felt gentle, kind, stable. It felt like I could finally exhale, but beneath the surface, my mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being were slowly eroding. It didn't happen all at once. It happened by inches. First came the small isolations, no vacations, no real celebrations, no building a life together full of memories, just endless days where connections slowly starved away. Then came the mind games, the guilt trips disguised as concern, the religious beliefs weaponized to control me, the constant unspoken rules about what I could or couldn't do, who I could be, what I could want. Instead of feeling like a partner, I felt like a prisoner. And because there were no bruises, because there were no screaming matches, because on the outside it looked stable, I blamed myself. I thought maybe I was just too damaged. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I was the problem. But the truth was, I was being gaslit. I was being spiritually, emotionally, and mentally manipulated. And I didn't even know it. Because when you come out of physical violence, you're trained to believe that if there's no fists, there's no abuse. But that's a lie. There are prisons without bars. There are wounds without blood. There is violence without bruises. And I lived it for years, thinking it was normal, because nobody had ever taught me what real emotional safety actually looks like. It's so easy to miss the signs when you're the one living inside it. When you're standing in the middle of the storm, everything just feels normal, even when it's not. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. I just didn't know how to read them yet. I remember feeling like I needed permission to exist. Every decision I made, whether it was spending $1, making a phone call, or even just expressing an opinion, it all had to be validated first. I was constantly second-guessing myself, walking on eggshells even when there was no obvious reason, always wondering, is this okay? Will this upset him? Am I too much again? It felt like I was living under a microscope. Every move, every choice, every feeling scrutinized, doubted, questioned. And after a while, I started doubting myself too. There were moments where I felt physically frozen, not metaphorically, literally frozen in my body. I would want to do something, make a decision, take a step, move forward, and it was like an invisible hand was holding me back. Like I was locked inside myself, waiting for permission that was never going to come. The emotional and mental isolation crept in slowly too. Little by little, I felt more alone, even when I wasn't physically alone. I felt disconnected, like my thoughts, my feelings, my dreams didn't really matter. And because there were no screams, no bruises, no broken windows, I believed it had to be my fault. I thought maybe I was just asking for too much. Maybe I was too damaged. Maybe this was just what life was supposed to feel like. But deep down, deep down, something inside me knew this wasn't right. That inner knowing never completely died, no matter how small they tried to make me. If any part of this feels familiar to you, if you're hearing this and thinking, oh my God, that's me, then hear me clearly. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not the problem. You're feeling the early warning signs. You're recognizing the invisible chains before they lock you in completely. And trust me, the fact that you're even questioning it is proof that your soul is still alive and fighting for you. Trust it. Trust yourself. You're not alone. I survived both visible and invisible prisons. I survived the bruises you could see and the wounds you couldn't, The body remembers, the mind learns. But the soul always knows. It knows when something isn't right, even when the mind tries to rationalize it away, even when the world tells you to be grateful or settle down or stop making waves. For decades, I was screaming inside, a silent, relentless cry that said, "This isn't how it's supposed to be." And even when I buried it, even when I tried to silence it to survive, it never died. It waited for me to be strong enough to hear it again. I didn't imagine it. I didn't exaggerate it. I didn't create drama. I survived it. I survived the prisons they built around me. I survived the ones they tried to build inside me. And waking up wasn't some pretty, peaceful moment. It was raw. It was violent. It was the tearing apart of every lie I had ever been told about who I was and what I deserved. Waking up is painful. It costs you everything you thought was safe, but it gives you back something far greater. It gives you back yourself. And that's a price worth paying every single time. So you've realized you're being gaslit, and now you're standing at the edge of a question that can feel overwhelming. How do you get out? How do you break free when everything inside you feels tangled up? First, breathe. Understand this. Recognizing the truth is the first act of freedom. You're already further along than you think. Step 1. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it is. Period. Don't let your mind talk you out of what your soul knows. Don't make excuses for someone else's cruelty. Don't gaslight yourself the way they have. Your feelings are valid. Your instincts are sacred. Your knowing is enough. Step 2. Reach out for support. When you're trapped in the fog of gaslighting, you can start to believe the lies because they are all you're breathing. You need fresh air. You need someone outside the fog. Reach out to a trusted friend, a family member, a therapist, someone who can listen without judgment, someone who can remind you of the reality you're fighting to hold on to. You don't have to figure this out alone. You never did. Step 3. Set unbreakable boundaries. Boundaries are not suggestions. They are non-negotiables. Tell the gaslighter, in whatever way feels safe for you, what behavior you will no longer tolerate. And when they test those boundaries, because they will, you stand firm. You hold the line. You protect your sacred ground. You are not asking for permission anymore. You are reclaiming your territory. Step 4. Seek professional support. Gaslighting can leave invisible scars, deep patterns of self-doubt, fear, and confusion. Therapy isn't just for crisis. It's for rebuilding the parts of you that someone else tried to tear down. Find someone who believes you. Find someone who helps you believe yourself again. Healing is not weakness. It's warriorship. Step 5. Prioritize radical self-care. Every act of self-care is an act of rebellion against the story they tried to trap you in. Laugh. Move your body. Create something. Breathe deeply. Spend time in places and with beings, even animals, who remind you that life is still good. Rebuild your life with your own 2 hands, one breath, one moment at a time. Because you are worth saving. You are worth protecting. You are worth loving. Fully, freely, without condition. You deserve relationships that lift you up, not tear you down. You deserve love that nurtures your spirit, not erases it. It won't be easy. It will stretch you. It will challenge everything you were taught to believe about love, loyalty, and trust. But every step you take toward yourself is a step back into your true power. You've got this. And you're not walking out of the fire empty-handed. You're walking out with your crown. Now, let's dive into some powerful listener stories and questions. Because this isn't just my story. This is a shared experience. And the more we talk about it, the more we take back our truth together. First, a story from Sarah. Sarah wrote in about her experience with subtle gaslighting from a close friend. At first, it didn't look like manipulation. It looked like concern. It looked like jokes. It looked like casual comments that made her question her memory, her feelings, even her reactions. And because it was someone she trusted, someone she wanted to believe had her best interests at heart, she didn't realize what was happening. Until one day she found herself standing in front of a mirror, wondering if she could even trust her own mind anymore. That's how gaslighting works. It's slow, it's disguised, it's patient. Sarah's story reminds us that gaslighting doesn't always come with sirens and flashing red lights. Sometimes it comes with a smile and a hand on your shoulder, and that's why staying connected to your inner knowing is so critical. Next, a question from Tom. Tom asked, how can you recognize gaslighting behaviors in a work environment? Amazing question, and an important one, because gaslighting isn't just something that happens inside romantic or family relationships. It can happen anywhere, including offices, teams, leadership structures. In work environments, it often looks like being blamed for mistakes you didn't make, having your concerns dismissed or twisted back on you, being excluded or isolated, then told you're paranoid for noticing it, being made to question your competence even after years of solid performance. In workplaces, gaslighting often wears a mask called professionalism. But make no mistake, manipulation is manipulation, whether it's wearing a tie or a wedding ring. We'll dig into that more in just a minute. And finally, a question from Emily. Emily asked about how to confront gaslighting without escalating the situation. And let me tell you, this is a delicate dance, but it's one worth learning, because confronting a gaslighter directly can sometimes cause them to blow up, deny harder, play the victim, try to twist it back on you. The key is standing in your power without stepping into their game, and that starts by staying calm, naming only what you know to be true for you, refusing to argue or defend because your truth doesn't need a debate. We're going to go into real strategies you can use to hold your ground without losing your peace. These stories and questions remind us of a powerful truth. Gaslighting isn't rare. It's not isolated. It's not just you. It's a pattern that shows up across every level of human connection. And the more we speak about it, openly, honestly, without shame, the more power we reclaim from it. Your voices matter, your questions matter, and I'm honored to stand here with you, shedding light where others have tried to keep us in darkness. Let's keep going. To all of our listeners out there, I want to leave you with these final thoughts. Abuse comes in many forms. It's not always visible. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's the silence that wounds you. Sometimes it's the slow starvation of the heart. Sometimes it's the tiny, relentless ways someone makes you doubt your own worth until you start to disappear inside yourself. If you're feeling trapped, even if you can't see the chains, trust that feeling. You don't need permission to believe yourself. You don't need evidence to know when something is wrong. Your soul knows the truth long before your mind can explain it. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not impossible to love. You are a survivor of a battle most people will never even comprehend. And if you're hearing my voice right now, it means you've already done something extraordinary. You survived what was designed to break you. You carried your own light through the darkness. You are not lost. You are finding your way home, back to yourself. So take a deep breath. Feel your own strength rising. Hold your head high, not because someone else said you could, but because you earned it. You are not alone in this journey. Not now, not ever. From all of us here at the podcast, we are sending you love, strength, and the deep knowing that you are capable of healing, rebuilding, and living a life that feels like freedom. You were never broken. You were always becoming. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Stay grounded, stay fierce, and remember, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Goodbye for now.